All right, we're here with the head coach of the Hemphill Hornets, Coach Brandon Layne. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's talk a little bit about last year. Obviously, it's your first year at Hemphill, so tell us how you ended up in Hemphill.
Just one of those opportunities that came up. I knew Coach Stark. I've known him for a while, and the head coach before him, Coach Vanya, was on the same staff. He was our defense coordinator in Ennis when I was offensive coordinator. So I knew these guys down here. I knew what kind of program it had been put in place, and I was just looking for an opportunity again to be in a school that I felt like I could compete at a higher level. And this is a good one. We got a good tradition going back to Coach Jenkins in the '70s and '80s to Coach Upshaw in the early 2000s, and then, like I said, following up Coach Banyan and Coach Stark. We got good administrative leadership here. We got, Mr. English is a former coach, Stephen English, and he's our superintendent. And then Jeremy McDaniel, high school principal, former coach. Junior high principal, Lane Cook, former coach. It's a good setup here, good administration, good school board support. And the kids have been awesome, man. So it's been a good four and a half, 5 months for me.
Awesome. Well, they went 5-6 last year and 3A D1 made it to the by district round. What have you seen on film, or have you even watched any film of last season?
Yeah, no, I've watched every game from the last few years. Some dudes, there's some players, there's some athletes, and then you look at the schedule of opponents, and there's some athletes there too. So it's definitely going to be a challenge weekly. But I think we have the kids and the coaching staff together that'll look forward to respond to that challenge every week. It's been good. There were some similarities in some of the things that they have done in the past. Again, going back to Coach Vanya and Coach Stark and the connection to me through our networks, there were some commonalities there, but obviously the process of how we do things is very much different. The tempo that we play with and that we practice with is definitely showing to be a challenge so far for our kiddos with this heat. But it's good, man. We're going to be in condition, ready to go play, and we're going to play a fast and physical brand of football on both sides of the football. So,
and with practices getting underway now, and with it being as hot as it is, I do want to ask you, you're the first coach that I've been able to talk to with practices now getting going. So what has that been like? What have practices been like? Are y'all having to take like extra water breaks and
and we
conditioning?
are, it's one of those deals where, the UIL came out with recommended guidelines, and they're recommendations for us to kind of build our own platform off of. We're professionals. I've done this for 20 years. I've been an AD and head coach for 10, and we're going to take care of kids. So we'll practice real fast and hard for 15 or 20 minutes at a time, and then we're going to stop and take helmets off and get some air and have a seat and get some water and make sure we can get that, keep our body temperature regulated. I've got a phenomenal trainer on staff, Coach Elliott, who's been here a long time. So she and I are working hand in hand to make sure our kids are provided for, and just keep an eye on them because it is hot. It's Texas, but it's called acclimation period, right? I firmly believe we're acclimating to the heat of the afternoon and evening to prepare to play in the afternoon and evening. That's why I'm not going in the mornings. But we do have to be extra cautious in the heat of the afternoons to, just take care of our kids and make sure we're getting the work done that we need to get done.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, about practicing in the evening times, because that's when you're going to be playing anyway. So that didn't even cross my mind, which is why you're the coach and I'm sitting over here talking to you. Hey, let's talk about this district though that you're in. It's a tough one. Yeah, you got to the defending state champs, and you got the defending state champs, Timpson in there, Garrison, top to bottom. This is a tough district. What are your thoughts on it?
It is, again, I'm going to go back to my connections to this area. This is a unique experience. I've known all these head coaches outside of Torrey over at St. Augustine. I've known the rest of them for about 10 or 15 years, just through personal connections. I worked for Jack Alvarez, who was a king of Southeast Texas when his time at Coverville and Pineland. And so I've known these guys as friends, right? And getting together at clinics and talking ball. And, now I look over and we open up with Timpson, the defending state champ, that, they graduated Terry, but they bring back a bunch of guys that have played about 55 games the last 3 years. They're going to be dang good. Coach Candy was a part of that success. So they're going to look to continue that. Then we go to Joaquin, and we got a new coach that's been there. Coach Jones has been there for a long time, and I've known him for a while, and their brand of football is physical, and that's not going to change, just because there's a new coach. Wade went over to Wascom. I get to play him in preseason. And then we go to Garrison, and Garrison, Brandon Alvarez, obviously, that's a brother to me. Jackson, and he's done a phenomenal job over there. Garrison is very fortunate to have him, and Richie Pinkert is DC on. That's a great staff. I firmly believe they are the second best team in Texas last year. Having to lose to Timpson twice, but they played their tails off both games. I respect what they do and how they go about business. And then we go into St. Augustine, who by all accounts may have the best athletes in the whole district. And Tori's done a good job getting those guys out and playing. And I built a relationship with those guys throughout the spring, at track meets, and then ending with Jarrett with Shelbyville over there, Coach Wallace. And they do a phenomenal job. He's done a great job from his time back at Pineland, and it's a very good district of coaches. Quality of coaches, I feel, is really high, top to bottom. I think weekly, it's a battle every week. Anybody can beat anybody. I said it when I got here. I think there's 4 of us that can win the district championship, and I think there's 4 of us that can miss the playoffs. And I say us included in both ends of that spectrum. It's going to be a great challenge. I look forward to that every week. Our kids are excited about it, but it is definitely a challenge. I would put it out there that it's the toughest 2A district in Texas.
It's hard to argue that, especially with the resumes that all these teams and coaches have. And
it's just depth everywhere.
Right. So let's talk about your expectations that you have for this season. It's your first year there at Hemphill, and they're coming off a playoff berth in 3A last season. So what are your expectations for the Hornets this season?
I came in with a purpose. We've got to clean some discipline up. That's first and foremost. We've got to act right and compete on the field and off the field in the classroom. We've got to, our program standards are be right, compete, and execute. And if we can do those things on and off the field, I think we're going to be in the mix every week. My expectations are to go to be the very best us that we can be and serve our community through a good brand on the field. And again, our brand is going to be discipline, fast, and physical football. And we got to, again, that's a mindset that's got to be trained into them every day. And we've had a phenomenal spring. These kids have adapted and embraced every challenge that I've given them since I got here in the end of February. So I very much look forward to them overcoming, the challenges of our schedule and overcoming the challenges of maybe their lack of discipline in the past, and just getting out there and playing good hard-nosed football.
All right, Coach Layne. Well, thank you so much for joining us today here on East Texas Now. I appreciate it. Best of luck to the Hornets this season, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yes, sir. Swarm them. Thank you.
Thank you.